shall we? Let's just get right into it. All right, Aubrey Marcus, here we go. Oh, goodness. Goodness.
Christianity is having a resurgence across the country that's like a wildfire. When Erica Kirk got up in front of 100,000 people and forgave her husband's...
How many tank tops do you need, buddy? How many tank tops do you need? How low can your V-neck go?
And then there's the religion of Christianity. But is that the teaching of Yeshua the Nazarene? Or is that Paulianity? Is that the teachings of the Apostle Paul? What is the difference? I brought in son of a pastor, biblical scholar, Aaron Abke, to help us find our way through and illuminate. Aaron, my brother, welcome. This has been a long time coming, I feel like.
It has, man. It's great to be here with you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad we shop at the same place. Guess average means 3, 4, and 5. Love them. Thank you, Christopher Scott. Appreciate that. Follow Christopher Scott's lead.
For sure. So we're in a period right now where there's a surge of Christian faith. Mm-hmm. And there are so many things that are so beautiful about that. I don't agree with all the premises of fundamentalist Christianity.
Cool. Podcasts like this, they just talk what they're feeling. You ask Aubrey Marcus why. On what basis does he disagree with anything? Now, most of the time, they're talking about some sort of evangelicalism. So it's like, it's kind of ironic to rail against these people because they're disagreeing with something that I disagree with for the most part, but they have no reason to disagree with it.
That God is taking a deeper place in this world.
Yeah.
And also,
yeah,
you know, from your perspective, all right, what are the things that we could just kind of correct? The branches of the tree that we could just bend them a little bit.
Yeah, let's bend it. Let's bend stuff and correct it. How do you know how to correct it? I don't know. You just ask basic questions like, by what standard are you correcting anything, sir? Even flawed heterodox Christianity. On what basis would these dummies correct that? That's what I would want. Are they going to get into this? No.
Or open up the sky a little bit. They could reach a little bit more light.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really poetic.
I just get so mad. I just get so mad.
It's okay. It's okay.
We know on the Erica Kirk thing, man, it was very much, I think it was potentially, you know, the most powerful moment in American history.
Calm down, Jimbob. Calm down, Jimbob. Calm down. Whew. 3 minutes in.
From a spiritual perspective, I don't know how you could argue otherwise, really, because we've always been a country that is eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Mm-hmm. And Yeshua not only corrected the...
Yeshua.
He corrected the Tanakh. He corrected his own scriptures by saying, you've heard it was said in, what is it, Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But I give you today a new commandment.
So you're accepting the continuation of Christianity, but rejecting Christianity? What the fuck?
Like, what a scandalous thing to say, you know, for
bold.
For a rabbi, yeah. And he said, love your enemies. Bless those who persecute you. Forgive.
He also said repent. He also said correct your behavior.
70 times 7, turn the other cheek, go the extra mile. That's the Jesus way.
Yeah.
And yet we as a Christian nation have never been the embodiment of that until maybe for the first time when Erica Kirk had that moment and said, I forgive my husband's killer.
There's no way that guy's hand has ever lifted a 2x4.
And I think because of the way that the Charlie Kirk thing has been, like, to me, it's been the biggest catalyst I've ever seen. I don't know about you. Mm-hmm. Even more than COVID. Like, I've never seen something galvanize the collective like this.
Yeah.
And it softened the hearts of America especially, but the world at large. And I think a big part of that's because we all kind of, anyone who watched Charlie Kirk, he's been all over the internet, countless viral videos. We've all seen this guy for years and years now, especially if you follow.
This is Ruslan. Yeah, this is like New Age Ruslan.
Politics or anything like that. And I don't think our monkey brains quite have caught up to the digital world. Like when you see somebody on a
let me guess, evolution's also true, but we got to correct Christianity. I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
Done this to me, and I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a level of consciousness that will solve the problems we've created on our Hammurabian eye for an eye consciousness.
Yeah.
We need to solve this problem at a different level of consciousness. And as you said, this moment was a moment where the Lamb, was victorious in this at least social zeitgeist battle. Yeah. Like it really prevailed far more than anybody attacking anybody else. This was significant.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, and so in terms of like the second half of your question there, what aspects of the Christian, thought system maybe need to be corrected?
Christianity is a thought system? I thought it was a practice. I thought there was a life to live. It always goes to just intellectualism. It's like trying to figure out some code of Christianity where it's like a syncretism. These guys end up in the end being syncretists, and they're trying to find the truth nuggets of all these religions. And it's interesting. They're talking about Christianity because it's actually relevant now, and yet, all of their life they're probably doing Buddhist rituals and doing all sorts of weird mixed, I want to call it mixed media, but it's like mixed theology. We need a good word for mixed theology. I mean, that's catchy. So whether it's perennialism or syncretism, these guys are stuck in this endless loop, and they think they're figuring stuff out. They do. They think they're getting to some place.
We can just jump right into the fire if you want.
Let's go.
Yeah. For me, dude, it really comes down to the dichotomy between Jesus and Paul.
Uh-huh.
The problem I have with Orthodox Christianity is that it is far more the religion of Paul than it is of Jesus.
What the hell are you talking about? What? Why? What are you saying? So wait a second. Christ establishes his church, declares the Great Commission to go out and teach with all of the apostles, but somehow you figured out that Paul is inconsistent, but they didn't? This is what's so frustrating. They'll take like a synoptic authority or something on Christ, and yet they'll, like, they didn't figure it out, so they'll be like, oh no, Christianity is partly true and mostly true because of this succession of teaching. Right. They're right. Those guys are right, even though they follow the same exact Christian path as Paul.
And I love Paul. He's a fellow divine brother on the way.
He's divine? Paul was divine. Paul was God nature?
I think he had a lot of, personal flaws. I think he was undoubtedly a serious narcissist, amongst many other things.
Oh gosh. Is this what you're doing? Is this what we're doing? You're going to take nonsensical, unverifiable psychological analysis, modern Freudian fucking bullshit. You're gonna go back through time and say, oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, not classic narcissism. This is so effeminate. The irony of this guy actually saying he's a narcissist, who is going on podcasts after 2,000 years of holy tradition and just arbitrarily dictating with his little hand on the desk. Here we go. He's a narcissist. I'm not.
But I think he was well-meaning. I don't think he was malevolent in what he was doing or writing. He said some good things, of course, too. He wrote some good things. But when you compare, and this is kind of what woke me up, man, from Christianity.
Oh, you were woken up, man? Oh, you're so enlightened one day. You woke up, man? What is this, New Age fatigue?
At 23, after taking my first time pastoral job at a church, full-time worship pastor.
Oh yeah, that you scream worship pastor. By the way, you didn't ever leave, buddy. You're just doing heterodox counter ministry. That's all you're doing. You're a counter minister. It's the same. Same presentation, same look, same nonsense spewing.
Graduated from ORU with a bachelor's in theology. I'm ready to follow in my dad and my granddad's footsteps as a third-generation pastor. And then I started to have big problems with the Jesus I was hearing preached at the church I was hired at.
Oh, could it be that church has a mangled theology? Yeah, maybe.
Because my parents' church was very spirit-filled, free. My dad didn't emphasize the dogmatic stuff very much, hell, the rapture, etc. He was all about the love of God, the love of Jesus, and the good stuff. So I had kind of the luxury of ignoring the fundamentalist doctrines most of my life. And at this church I got hired at, I didn't have that luxury anymore. There's every Sunday some stupid fire brimstone sermon about how everybody's going to hell except us. And it was just nauseating to listen to because...
So he started, this is why he's all over the place. He starts with Orthodox, because Orthodox go after this guy. I go after this guy. He's probably actually referring to me in some of these because I'm so consistent going after his dumb posts. He starts with orthodoxy. Oh, it's Pauline, it's not Christian or whatever. No standard for that. But now he moves quickly over to his own probably evangelical, Pentecostal something or other church. And now he's like linking them together. He's got a jumbled, scrambled eggs brain.
I'm really blessed to say this. I don't have any memory in my life that I wasn't in love with Jesus, from birth. I was raised this way. And so I left Christianity for Jesus because I didn't believe this religion was representing the Jesus I knew in my heart. And so I started to have big problems with the theologies I was hearing, going, I can't imagine Jesus signing off on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, so you led with a complete fallacy called personal incredulity. And that was your big wake-up call, Aaron. Your big wake-up call, Aaron Abke, was an incredulity fallacy? That's weird. I thought you were logical. I thought you were taking the logical approach toward Christ. Interesting.
There's a lot of things that are inconsistent about that. So I want to point to one thing that I read and I think is accurate. First of all, it's estimated that Paul was writing between 18 to 34 years after Jesus was crucified, right? So it's not like at least that long. So it's not like it was concurrent. Yeah. So this is a human.
And he never met Jesus. That's the big point.
He never even met him.
Neither have you. What kind of argument is this? Like, whatever their claims are, the problem is you can't say I hold to what Jesus said without appealing to someone who's not Jesus, and then someone who's not them, and then someone who's not them. That's what succession is. So you can't argue against Christianity by appealing to Christianity. You can't. Just go atheism. Because the moment you go, oh, okay, well, this is all scrambled or whatever, and I'm going to fix it. Well, everything you know about Christ relies on some other thing. You don't get direct words. From this view, it's the same counter that I present to the Mormons. Why do you accept anything biblically? Why? It's amazing. Why would you accept anything biblically? Like he's like, oh, I believe Christ, but I don't believe Paul. Why would you accept anything biblically, dude?
No. So he's hearing other stories, writing things down.
Yep.
And then this has become, as you said, a major part of the kind of institution of Christian religion, which is...
Oh, institution, bad.
It's called Christianity, about Yeshua, the Christed one, Jesus Christ. And just to clear that up, there was no hard J in the Bible.
No,
so,
you're a hard J.
So calling him Jesus is like...
What a dumb argument. There was no hard J in the Bible, so calling him Jesus. I mean, I just want to round them all up, honestly. I'm hitting my fatigue point. Like, all sorts of extremists want to put different groups of people in gulags and camps, and it's like I would have the most obscure variation of people in my camps. You know what I mean? They'd be like, Jimbob, who are you going to put in the camps? I'd be like, well, it's quite the mix.
Like calling somebody, Jose when their name is Jose, or like Royce Gracie, but it's fine.
It's very anachronistic.
We do it anyways, but nonetheless, it's like, all right, it's Yeshua.
Yeah.
But so if
oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. It just is Yeshua. It's Yeshua. That's the proper way of doing it, because there's no J. There was no J. So, are you aware of what a translation is? Are you aware Hebrew to Greek to English and the rest? Are you guys this fucking
common vernacular here? But it's just important to note from a historical perspective.
It's Yeshua, mind blown. Bro, he's spitting facts.
Paul was not an eyewitness and was a different man. And so you have to, then allows you to call in the fallibility of a human being that's trying to understand both history, a story, and clear his own hermeneutic prism from his own stuff. Yeah. Like we all are.
Yeah. That's why I don't fault Paul.
He literally said nothing. That guy's like, yeah.
Paul, I don't think he's the bad guy, which a lot of people do. It's like, it's not really Paul's fault what the Greco-Roman pagan religion did with his teachings and how they morphed it over time into all this crazy stuff. Like, Paul didn't even believe Jesus was born of a virgin, never wrote about it. Paul never wrote about Trinitarianism. Like, this is all later church father stuff.
No, the Trinity is in the Old Testament, dude. It's another word concept fallacy. It's like, oh, they never use the word Trinity. What do you think a theophany is? You flowers and ice cream.
But nonetheless, Paul was, I think, a very tormented soul. He was, first of all, a diaspora Jew, so he was a Greek.
Verbatim fallacy.
Not a Semitic Hebrew by birth. And he was a serial killer of Christians. That was his day job. He was a serial killer of Nazarene Christians. And now this is another big point that most people don't know, that the first Christians were called Nazarenes. And this is attested to by multiple church fathers as early as the 3rd century. All the first Christians were called Nazarenes, and much later the term Christian developed. And so Paul is going around slaughtering the Jewish Christian disciples of Jesus for a living, and he has this supposed encounter on the road to Damascus. Now,
why is it supposed? Why do you believe anything else? Why do you believe that the original Christians were Nazarenes? Why do you believe the other apostles? Why do you believe any story about Jesus Christ at all?
There are so many contradictions between Jesus and Paul and what they taught that it would take us multiple podcasts.
Oh, multiple podcasts. So many, but multiple. So many.
To go through all of them. But I can just riff off a couple of them for you to show people the gravitas of this. And I know that you'll appreciate this approach because you have, in my eyes, you clearly have the same reverence for Yeshua as a true spiritual master.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's like,
absolutely.
I don't care what the religious...
I mean, listen to that statement, dude.
Slaughtering the Jewish Christian disciples of Jesus for...
This is like something South Park would write.
And I know that you'll appreciate this...
Little fluffing right near. I know you'll appreciate this
approach because you have, in my eyes, you clearly have the same reverence for Yeshua as a true spiritual master.
As a true spiritual master. As a true... Dude, you are a charlatan, dude. This is like a Ben Stiller skit. I know you really have reverence for Yeshua as a true spiritual master.
And for me, it's like, I don't care what the religious tradition is. I'm not going to elevate it above the words of the master himself.
How did you get the words of the master himself? Huh? Hey, Aaron, how did you get the words from the master himself, buddy? How did you get the words of the master, Aaron?
So even more than the Bible, church fathers, Paul, you name it, Jesus' words alone are number one for me.
Really? If they're number one for you, how did you get them?
And I believe that Jesus' words alone are sufficient for...
Jesus' words alone. This is like some pseudo scripture alone, but it's just the red letters. It's sufficient. I told you, they're counter ministry, but they're the same ministry. It's the same epistemology. All of these defectors from evangelicalism, Protestantism, Pentecostal, all of it, Lutheranism, Calvinism, when they defect, they still run the same deal. They don't leave. Their epistemology remains exactly the same. They just become their own pope. They just become their own pastor. They're just a counter pastor. He's still doing the same Christianity that he left.